Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to our grammar lesson for this week. This grammar lesson is related to our unit that we are studying from the book Guess What? And if you're not studying from the book, then this grammar lesson is very important for you as well. So, what do you think this guy, the stick guy at the right of the screen, is doing? Does he have anything important to do? Yes, I think he's got some important things to do. Let's check together how to use have to and don't have to or doesn't have to in this lesson. So, what I have to start with for today is have to. What is have to? Well, we use the word have to in a sentence to express obligation. And what is obligation? Obligation is something important, something necessary, something that we need to do, okay? And you can use it in a present or in the future. So you can talk about important things to do now or later in the future. Okay, so let's check some examples together. The boy have to study hard. Is it important? Yes, these days it's important for the boy to study hard because he's got some exams. So the boys have to study hard. Another example is the boy has to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Why? Maybe he's got to go to school, just like you. Okay, so the boy has to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. It is important for him. It's important to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So you can see here from these two examples that we use have to and has to when we want to talk about something that is important to do. Okay, so how do we put it in a sentence? Okay, usually we can use a subject, then we can use have to or has to, and we can follow it with a verb and a complement. A complement is everything that comes after the verb. Okay, so let's see. I, you, we, and they. These are some subject pronouns. These four subject pronouns are followed by have to. Okay, so for example, you have to arrive on time to class. Don't be late, you have to arrive on time to class. It's important to arrive on time to class. With the subject pronouns she, he, and it, we're going to use has to. For example, she has to brush her teeth every day. It's important, right? She has to brush her teeth every day. Okay, what if it's not important? What if there's nothing for me to do for today? Well, we can use don't have to or doesn't have to, which means it's not important. For example, or let's say we use don't have to or doesn't have to express absence of obligation. You know, the word absence means it does not exist, it's not here, it's not there anymore, we don't have it, so absent. Okay, so there is no obligation here. What does it mean? It means it's not important when something is not necessary to do. Okay, let's take some examples. The children don't have to go to school today. Why? Because it's Saturday. Do you have to go to school on Saturday? I don't think so. I don't have to go to school on Saturday. Okay, so the children don't have to go to school today. So we can use here don't have to because it's not important. Another example is she doesn't have to eat all the fruits. She doesn't have to eat all the fruits. Is it important? I don't think so. It's not important. It's not necessary. She doesn't have to eat all the fruits. Okay, so now let's see how to put have to or don't have to and doesn't have to in a sentence. Okay, so we can use in the beginning, we can use a subject in a sentence. Then it's followed by don't have to or doesn't have to. And then we have a verb and a complement, which is everything that comes after the verb. So, do you want to have some examples? Let's take the first one. We can use I, you, we, or they with don't, or don't have to. That's in negative sentences. In positive sentences, we can use I, you, we, and they with have to. Negative, don't have to. For example, we don't have to get up early on Sundays because there is no school, so it's not important. Then we have the subject pronouns that go with doesn't have to, which are she, he, and it. So in positive sentences, we said she, he, and it has to. In negative sentences, we say doesn't have to. So he doesn't have to get up early on Sundays. So as you can see here in these two examples, we can use don't and doesn't in negatives, but we still use have to for all the pronouns. Alright. Let's see how we can use have to and has to in questions. So, we can use do to make questions with have to. So do goes with I, you, we, they, and have to. For example, we'll take some examples later on. We can also have does when we use the pronouns he, she, and it plus have to. So you can see here that just like in negative sentences, we can use do, does with have to. Okay, so in negative and questions, we don't use the word has to anymore. So we're going to use have to for all the pronouns, and do and does, which are auxiliary. Okay, so example, do you have to eat the vegetables? Do you have to eat the vegetables? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Another example, does she have to eat the vegetables? Does he have to eat the vegetables? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Okay? So we can say, do you have to? Have to. Okay? Like have to. Do you have to? Does he have to? Does he have to eat the vegetables? Okay, are you ready for some practice? Alright, let's get to it. Let's start. I want you now to take a look at these sentences and try to order the following sentences or the following words into a sentence. Clean your room, have to, and you. Okay, let's take a look at this sentence and check which word in this sentence is the subject. You is a subject, it's followed by have to, and the complement. So, you have to, verb clean, and complement. Clean what? Clean your room. Okay, let's check it out. You have to clean your room. Perfect. Let's get to the second exercise. They play football, do, have to. And that's a question mark. Okay, so we have got a question here. For questions, which word do we start with questions? Yes, we need do or does. In this sentence, we have the word do. So we're gonna use do, followed by a subject, they, followed by a verb. No. Do they have to? Verb. Have to, verb. So, do they have to play football? Do they have to play football? Another one is negative. Don't have, I make my bed. So, I don't have to make my bed. I don't have to make my bed. Let's check the next one. Do the dishes, has to, she. We start with the subject. She has to do the dishes. She has to do the dishes. Next one is cut the grass, does, have to, he. That's a question. We're gonna start with the auxiliary verb. Does. Does he have to cut the grass? Does he? Does is the auxiliary verb. He is the pronoun. Have to and a verb complement the rest of the question. She has to every day. She has to study every day. She has to study every day. Okay? It's important for her to study every day. Alright. Now what I want you to do is take a look at these sentences and try to use have to, has to, don't have to, and doesn't have to. The first one goes with Sarah, study hard for the exam. Yes, has to. Sarah has to study hard for the exam. The second one is David, clean his room. David is a he's a boy, so we're gonna use has to. David has to clean his room. Okay, I. Which word do we use with I in positive sentences? Do we use have to or has to? Have to. I have to cut the grass every Sunday. It's my job. Andre, to play football after class. Andre is a boy, takes the pronoun he, so Andre has to play football after class. Number 5, you make your bed every day. Which one? Have to. You have to make your bed every day. Okay, that's great. Let's go for a couple more sentences. Now I want you to use negative here. So negative means don't have to or doesn't have to. She go to school on Saturday. She doesn't have to go to school on Saturday. Doesn't have to. She doesn't have to for negative. Next one is I brush my teeth every day. What do we use here? Positive or negative? Have to. I have to brush my teeth every day. That's good. You, negative, don't have to. You don't have to do the dishes. You don't have to wash the dishes or do the dishes. Okay, so next one is he. He, negative, doesn't have to. He doesn't have to make his bed in the morning. Well, that's great. You have done a great job today. So I'm gonna leave this video for you to watch again. It's gonna be very useful for you. And I'm going to be posting a quiz on our Google Classroom to check after you watch the video. Alright? See you!